you know? All right. So guys, for our very first team huddle, yay, by the way, we are going to talk about something that is called transformational vocabulary. Now, does anybody know what transformational vocabulary is? Maybe, nobody. Okay, so transformational vocabulary is what we are going to term, per se, the new vocabulary that we're going to create in order to help us transform. So a good way to remember this is watch your TV, because isn't that kind of funny? We watch our TVs. So TV is transformational vocabulary. So our TVs, of course, always have regular programming, right? Like you can look at the TV guide or like go on there and you can see the scheduled shows if you have cable or whatever, right? So your programming is a pre-planned or pre-decided thing that's going to happen. Like you can go look, and if your show comes on every Wednesday night at 6 o'clock, it's set up that way. And so every Wednesday night at 6 o'clock, it's going to happen, right? Well, we have programmed language inside of us like that. And so I want you guys to think of it like this. And you guys can unmute yourselves for this. Just don't actually swear, okay? If you stub your toe, I want you to tell me, or bleep it out, but still tell me, what do you say every time you stub your toe?
Bad words.
Okay, anybody else? What do you say when you stub your toe?
Son of a monkey.
Okay, so when you do that, right, you just automatically say that thing. You know, whatever it is that you say, you're like, oh, you know, right? And you just say the thing and you don't think about it because it's programmed into you, right? So we all have language for different situations that is programmed into us. So now I want to ask you guys, and I want you each to take a turn. When you message somebody for work and they say, yeah, I'm open to more information, what do you first say in your head? What's the, because I know y'all have something. What are you? You're like, yes, or like, you know, what do you do? Each of you tell me, what's your programmed thing?
Freak out.
Okay, yep, okay. So you freak out. Cassandra
Yeah.
and Whitley, how about you ladies? And Faith? Faith?
I think heck yes.
Right? Okay. What about, I don't know if you can talk, Cass.
I think woohoo.
Okay. So, right. So you have a response, an automatic response. You're excited, you freak out, heck yes, woohoo, right? Okay. So now I want you guys to think about another situation, and I all want you to tell me what you think. When I go on Facebook and I'm like, ha ha ha, I'm going to tag them all in book club and tell them that they should be there and have read the chapters. What's the first response you guys have? And be honest, it's okay. Y'all tell me, what's your response when you're like, you got a notification? Oh, Justina just told me I should be at book club.
Oh,
okay. You first then, Rebecca. What's yours? We didn't hear you. So what was yours, Rebecca? You just laughed.
Mine was all crap.
All right. Cassandra, what about you? When you see I tag,
that's mine too.
oh crap. All right. So you as you can see that there's different things in this business, right? Where we just have those automatic pre-programmed reactions to them, right? So here's another one. The moment that you guys, for those of you that have, you get a sale, it's done. You see that little message sent to you that says, congratulations, so-and-so. What's your response then?
Eee!
Right? Okay, anybody else?
Yay!
Okay, so I want you guys to think of it like this. Our vocabulary that we have in our head, whether we're stubbing our toe, we're getting an order done, Justina's like, hey, y'all need book club, whatever it is, we have these pre-programmed responses, right? And that's an important thing for us to become aware of, because when we have those pre-programmed responses. It affects how we feel in that situation. If you got a sale and you were like, well, this is dumb, you're probably not going to be feeling excited. But because you're feeling excited, that's why you're like, ee, or yay, or heck yeah, right? So I want you to think of it this way. If you stub your toe and then you say the F word and a whole bunch of other words, or if you stub your toe and you're like fiddlesticks, which one of those things do you feel like is going to make you actually feel worse if you say them? Somebody, anybody. Which one do you think? If you say fiddlesticks, is that as negative of a word, let's say, or negative as an emotion if you say the actual F word?
No.
Okay. So choosing our words can actually change the way that we feel in a situation. And so I'm going to give you guys a quick little story of something like that. So I listened to a story recently that someone told, and they said that a negative thing had happened in their business, and they were telling two of their business partners about it. And when the person who had the negative thing happened, so let's say that was me, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so PO'd, like this is so messed up, da da da. Then the person to the right of me is like, oh my gosh, they suck, we should just kill them, right? Then I'm gonna be like, whoa, like calm down, like we don't need to actually kill anybody, like yeah, this sucks, but you know, that's a little. But then if the person on the left of me is just sitting there, you know, and I'm like, aren't you mad that this happened? And they were like, well, I mean, yeah, I'm a little peeved. And you're like, peeved? Like, what? I'm so mad. And this person's like, yeah, let's kill him. And they're like, yeah, I'm a little peeved, you know, just made me feel a little naughty. That person obviously isn't having as strong as an emotional reaction to the same situation that all three people are now aware of, right? So I want you guys to think of a time, let's say like you stub your toe and you say the F word, or like I want you to think of a time where you have a negative comment or a negative language. It can be when you get hurt, it can be in your business, it can be like, oh my God, Justina's bugging me about book club again, and I just wish she would stop because I'm never going to do it. It could be anything like that. But I want you guys to think of like, what words do you say to yourself that are negative? Are you like, oh man? Are you like, this sucks? Are you like, oh, not this again? Are you like, oh my gosh, that person was so rude and like, I just can't do this? Like, think of what negative self-talk you have for a second. And then I want you guys to flip it and try to think of a word that you could try to start saying in place of it that doesn't feel like that negative word. So rather than the actual F word, if you said fiddlesticks, that kind of feels different in your body, or at least it does for me. And you guys might need different words depending on who you are and how you talk, right? But if you say to yourself, this sucks, you're going to have a certain emotional reaction and a physical reaction in your body when you think, gosh, this just sucks, right? Versus on the flip side, if you were like, well, that didn't go up as planned. And I know that you guys are like, well, I'm probably not going to say that, right? Like that didn't go as planned. But when we become aware of our vocabulary, we can start to focus on our TV, which is our transitional vocabulary. And we can start to be super intentional about the words that we're choosing, because the way that we say things, even inside our head, right, affects us physically and emotionally. So I want somebody, let me pick on someone who looks like, I want Whitley. Whitley, will you unmute yourself and hopefully not a swear word, but tell me a word that you say sometimes in any situation that you want that's just negative. And then I want you to tell me something else that you could try to start saying in place of it that doesn't feel like that same thing in your body.
Not a curse word.
Well, no,
Probably,
you know.
probably frick.
Okay.
It's close.
Okay, so if you say frick, like think of how that feels inside of you. And now I want you to pick something else that would mean the same thing per se, right? But that just feels totally different, or almost feels weird to say instead of frick.
Fudge bottoms.
Okay, so see how you smiled when you said fudge bottoms and you're laughing, but
Yeah.
you didn't when you said frick? it feels different. So the next time that something happens where you would normally say frick, if you're like fudge bottoms, you're probably going to start laughing, right?
Yeah.
And if you do that, inside of your body is going to feel different, which is then going to give you a completely different mental and physical attitude about whatever the situation was. And even if it's still a frick situation, you're probably not going to so strongly feel like frick. You're going to be like, oh my gosh, fudge bottoms. I can't believe I actually listened to Justina and said that in the first place. Like, and you're going to be laughing, and it's just going to change your whole outcome, right? So now I'm going to go through, and I'm not going to pick on all of you, but a couple of you. And I'm going to ask you to tell me one time where you had a negative thing happen in your business so far. And so we're going to start with Rebecca, because you've been doing this the longest. Just tell the group a negative thing. You just had some recent ones happen. So quickly tell us a negative thing that happened in your business, and then tell me like what your internal language was like. Like, what were you saying inside yourself when that bad thing happened?
Okay, so the other day, a lady thought that I had called her overweight, and internally, I just like freaked out because I was like, oh my gosh, number one, I would never do that. And I, am overweight myself, and I just like totally just freaked out because I would never do that to somebody.
So did you have any negative thoughts about that interaction? Did you think this sucks? Did you think like maybe I'm not good at
Yes.
talking to people? Like, tell me, what things did you think when that thing happened?
Yeah, I was like, well, maybe I shouldn't, have said that this way, or I did it, I was second guessing myself, and, maybe I didn't say it the right way. And, well, maybe I'm just not good at this. And, should I be doing this? And, I was saying those things to myself.
Mm-hmm. So now I want you to think of this. If that same situation happened today, and then she freaked out, she blocked you, whatever happened, and you're like, okay, good. This is good, because now
Yeah.
I can think of more creative ways to, word to someone something. And even though I wasn't talking about her weight, right? I was
Yeah.
trying to share, here's some things that we can help. Maybe now I can come up with something and maybe say like migraines, energy, trouble sleeping, and healthy weight management. Like maybe I'll word it like that from now on, or whatever. What if you said, this is good, because now I'm learning a new skill, right? Now I'm forced to come up with a new way to present this message to people so that no one else ever feels like that again. If you think about it like that, you have a completely different feeling in your body, right? Then, oh my gosh, maybe I'm not good at this. Maybe I'm doing it wrong. Maybe I'm bad at talking to people, etc. So now, Cassandra, I'm going to pick on you next. And I want you to tell me a time where just something didn't go as planned in your business. And you tell me what happened really quick and the internal language that you had about it when it happened.
So I guess the one that had like the biggest effect on me, I guess, would be my mom.
Okay.
When I first started sharing with her, and then even for the first like couple months, she was just very not supportive. And even like she could see the benefits that I was having, but she was still just like very negative and unsupportive, and like I don't know, like it would just, she just had kind of like snarky comments and stuff, and when it's like, especially when it's your mom, like it's really hard to like not have those self-doubting feelings, and thoughts like going through your mind, and I definitely like it made me question like, well, maybe I'm not, cut out for this, and maybe I, all the things, like I'm not good enough, I won't be good enough, like I'm never gonna do anything right in her mind, and all of that, but then I did switch my thought process about it, and I kind of was like, well, I'll show her.
Right. I love that. So the same thing, like what if your mom is like, nope, this is just another thing, right? And you're like, okay, good. I'm going to make sure that she sees, right? That this isn't just another thing. And it will be my mission to make every person who thinks, the same way she does, that this is not just another thing. And so then you dive into trainings, or you make extra sure to talk about all of your benefits, and you make extra sure to point out how, oh, hey, you struggle with that thing. Guess what? I'm not dealing with anymore, So again, when that situation happens, if you are in turn like good, right? So I want you guys to think of it like this, okay? If anything bad happens in your business and you are physically capable of saying the word good as soon as it happens, this is good, okay? That means a couple of things. It first of all means that you're alive, because you have to be alive to say the word good, right? And if you're alive, it means that it's not over. It means that while, yes, the bad is available, like they told you no, they took what you said wrong, they don't believe in you, whatever it is, the good is also still available. Like, I'm going to prove to myself that I am good enough. I'm going to prove to myself that I can do this. I'm going to go watch an extra training. I'm going to ask Justina, hey, I sent this message to someone and they reacted completely wrong. How could I word it better next time, right? If we say good, then that means that we can choose to find a positive or to find a lesson. So kind of like when you're first starting to ride a bike and you fall off and you skin your knee, you could be like, oh my gosh, I suck at this. I'm never going to ride a bike. I can't do it. Or you could say, this was good because now I know not to turn the wheel so sharp, right? And you learned something, and then something comes out of it because the next time you go to try to ride your bike, then you don't do that again and you've learned a lesson. So I want you guys to think of it like this, okay? If you feel upset and you're doing this business, if you feel defeated, if you feel frustrated, that means that you are not controlling your TV. And since we are in 2023, we all have the ability to control our TVs. Heck, you can control your TV from your phone now. You can like tell Alexa to do it. Like you can do all kinds of stuff, right? So there's no excuse to not control your TV, which is your transformational vocabulary, okay? So your words control how you feel. Because if you say fudge bottoms, you're laughing at yourself. And if you say frick, you feel kind of like, ugh, you know, right inside of you. So I want you guys to purposely start choosing different language in different situations. And it doesn't just have to be about work. It can be about health stuff. It can be about your kids. It can be whatever. If your kid dumps a bottle of juice on the carpet, instead of being like, what the F, you know, or frick, or whatever, I want you to be like, fudge bottoms. This is good because now I know that I need to go to the store and buy some leak-proof sippy cups or whatever it is, right? I want you to try to find the good in everything because our words, okay, control how we feel. And so even if our kid just dumped like red juice on the white carpet and we cannot find the good in that, if you say out loud, this is good, it's okay, this is good, this is a good thing, I can now give my kids a lesson in carpet stain removal. And that's a valuable life skill. So this is good, right? If you make yourself say that out loud, guys, you're going to feel different in your body than if you're like, what the heck? Why did you do that? Why is the juice down? Ah, like all of this, right? You're just going to have a completely different approach to the whole situation. So I have some homework for you guys. I want you to write down a list of words that you can start using in place of the language that you normally do. I want you to create your TV programming, right? Which is your transformational vocabulary programming, because every TV has programs. And I wrote down a couple of things that I normally don't say that just feel silly for me to say that I'll give you guys an example of. Like to say that I'm feeling a little bit tickled about the situation. Like, how do you feel tickled about something that made you mad? I don't know, but it seems funny and I feel like it'll make me laugh. Or to say, I'm a little bothered by that, yeah. Or just to say, this is good, whatever the situation is, it's good, and then make myself say it out loud. So, guys, if we're getting upset, again, it means that you're not in control of your TV. And if we're not in control of our TV, Faith, I need you to go out real quick. Hold on, guys, 1 second. Sorry. So if we get upset, we're not in control of our TV. And if we're not in control of our TV, guys, then that means that the enemy is winning, because the enemy's whole goal is to mess us up, to make us feel like we're not good enough, to make us feel like we can't do this, to make us feel like we're always going to get it wrong, to make us feel like we're never going to get anyone signed up. All of those negative thoughts, right? That is our normal programming that we can choose to change if we want to. So I want you all to make an effort to program your own TV guide to decide what words can I use instead. And remember that your words affect your emotions and that affects your outlook. So if every time you feel like you're having a failure in your business, you say, you know what? This is good. And then you make yourself say out loud, this is good, like I said, because now I can get better at the way that I word messages. Or this is good because now I know, right, that I should maybe spend a little more time like building a friendship with certain people before I reach out to them. Or this is good because, like for you, Cass, your mom did all of that, right? But now guess who's liking Plexus? And guess who's telling their friends about Plexus? Cass's mom. So that was good, right? She doubted you. You didn't give up on yourself. You learned. You kept educating her. You followed the system, really. You told her about testimonies and about your, your increased improvements and everything else. And then finally she was willing to try it. And now she wants to tell other people potentially, right? So I want you guys to remember that anytime you feel like there's a failure, you feel like there's a mess up, you feel like, you just can't, or maybe you'll never get it, or oh my gosh, Justina told me not to do that like 32 times and I did it anyways, or whatever it is, it's good. You're learning, you're growing, and as long as you can say good, you're still alive, which means you get another chance, okay? So that's all that I have about transformational vocabulary. I hope that you guys find that helpful, both for work stuff and just for life. It's super helpful to me. Does anybody have any questions, or would anyone like to make any comments about anything before we go? And you can just unmute yourself and talk if you do. And if not, that's okay.
Like I've said to you, Justina, before, we should be so busy that the rejection just doesn't even faze us almost.
Agreed.
And that's in any aspect of life. Like if you're chasing Jesus and you're going about your day and people are like, wow, you're weird, that we should be so busy doing what we're called to do that we doesn't even faze us. I'm like, okay, bye.
Exactly. So, and Whitley, I think you'll be perfect for this. So I want you to answer this real quick. Sorry. Who are you in doing this work? Are you a healer? Are you a helper? Are you a hope bringer? Tell me who you are in your opinion. Like, what is your identity in doing this as a job? Who are you?
A helper, I guess.
Okay. What else? What do you do? What are you doing for people?
I love on people.
Okay. So you're a lover, you're a helper.
Encourager.
Okay, you're an encourager.
Like the actual.
I don't know.
Okay. So no, those are good. So I want you to think about that. Willie was just saying we should be so busy doing what we're doing, right? That we're not fazed when rejections come. So when you get a rejection or you get a no, or you get someone super upset at how you worded something, if you're like, this is good because I'm a helper, I'm a lover, I'm educating people, I'm healing people, I'm bringing people hope, etc. If you immediately say that, this is good because I tried to bring it to that person. Now, maybe that person wasn't ready, but I tried to bring me, who is a lover, a healer, a helper, all of that. I tried to bring me to this person. And this is a good thing. Then I feel like you guys will have a completely different perspective. You won't feel burnt out. You won't feel upset, rejected, hurt. You'll be like, you know what? I did a good thing because I tried to love on someone today. Now, maybe they didn't want it, right? That happens sometimes, but I tried. And that's all that we can do every single day is be so busy trying to help everyone else that none of the rest of it matters. And if you guys can do that, then you will be successful at this. Okay. All right. Well, that is it for Team Huddle today. I love you all. I want to just try to keep them short always. Next Wednesday, it will be at 4 o'clock unless life falls apart. But I'm super grateful you were all here. And does anyone else need anything before we end this?
Friday mornings?
Going once, going twice.
Oh.
All right, guys, I'm gonna close
You're
it
saying
out.
you're not gonna work
I
out
love
just
y'all.
that Friday.
Love you guys.
Bye.
Too early. Ah.